First day out. Ready to get it rolling, man. Beautiful morning. Nowhere else I'd rather want to be than right here. How we doing?
Good, man. Let's go. It's time.
Yeah, feel blessed, man. Day one. Thank God I'm here. I'm feeling good, man. Ready to get to work with the guys, man.
Great day. Sunny outside.
Great day, man. Rookies report. Excited to get to work.
And just like that, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. Amber Theoharis, Eric Allen. It is another season. Training camps getting ready to open. We just saw the rookies reporting, including the first-round draft pick, Tyree Wilson.
Yes.
He is in the house. Excited about him, but excited to be back with you, my friend.
It's awesome to be here, right? Sun shining, guys getting ready for camp. Really, this is the best time of the year for all football fans.
Hope reigns eternal,
Yes.
and we're going to take you all through the preseason. And here are some dates that you need to know. Training camp opens up July 26th,
Yep.
first date of
Get it
practices, and then they're going to put the pads on. Luckily, they have an indoor facility here in Las Vegas. It's hot.
No one hits anyway. It ain't no pads. Come on now.
That's going to be on August 1st, and then August 13th, first preseason game taking on the 49ers. Looking forward to seeing that one after a couple of joint practices. And then, of course, it is cut down day. There's only one big one this year. There used to be three. Now they're saying, forget it. Let's go from 90 to 53.
Everyone gets their opportunity to ball out until the 29th of August.
That's right. So those are the dates that you guys need to know, and we will keep you posted throughout it. But the biggest storyline for the Raiders right now, of course, is Josh Jacobs, as the franchise tag deadline came and went on July 17th without both sides being able to agree on a long-term deal. And so now, Eric, it becomes very simple. He either shows up and plays on the tag, or he does not. And I want to be very clear because there's some confusion. There is nothing else that can happen between these two parties until after week 17. So really, that is the decision Josh has to make. When will we see him in camp? We don't really know. But there's not much more the Raiders could do or offer. Right now, it comes down to whether or not he comes. But such a big part of this offense.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about last year, just dominated the year as far as rush is concerned. And I think Josh owes just a tremendous amount to this offensive line also. They really worked together. Kind of started off bumpy at the beginning of the season, but you know how much we relied on Josh to kind of get it done throughout the rest of the season. His big kind of runs at the end of the games where he's in great condition, being able to finish off runs, being able to finish off plays. I just love the way this football team and how they balanced their offense around Josh Jacobs. I'm not sure if they knew Josh was going to be able to give him what he did, but outstanding job Josh did last year. Hopefully he gets in, ready to roll this year.
49% of the touches overall for this team on offense last year. So a major, I mean, if that's not a catalyst for an offense. Now, whether or not he shows up, let's say he doesn't, we don't know what's going to happen early on. But we might get a chance to really see some of the younger running backs, especially Zamir White, get an opportunity.
And Amber, I tell you, after carrying the ball as many times as Josh carried the ball, I'm not sure if he's in camp, he's going to get any carries in preseason anyway. The ball as many times as he's run the ball. But yes, you're definitely right. This is going to be a great chance for these young players to be able to prove and show that they belong somewhere on this roster. Now, I'm pretty sure the Raiders are going to go with the combination of 4 or 5 running backs anyway, and they try and create opportunities for themselves, right? If you're going to really be a first and second down guy, you're going to have to be able to find the holes, get it, have great vision, do those things that we saw Josh do. And then if you're a third down guy, you're going to have to provide that opportunity for yourself to be able to run block, pass block, catch the ball at the backfield. So you have to find space for yourself, and it's a big point for Zamir White.
Well, running backs, as you just described, are asked to do a lot these days. But while that is happening, the valuation of the running back position seems to be going down, and that was maybe one of the issues with not being able to come to an agreement.
Right.
Right now, a lot of running backs are speaking out that they feel like they are devalued, and they might have a point when you look at the direction of the franchise tag with other positions. Right now, the running back position is the lowest franchise tag of all the skilled positions, positions.
Yeah.
And there's a debate going on whether or not they should or should not be, but there's no doubt things are changing. Look what's happened.
Look at those numbers.
Over the past 8 years, quarterbacks have gone up.
Yeah.
Up to $34 million on the franchise tag. And then we've seen wide receivers go up $7 million. Tight ends have gone up $3 million. Meanwhile, running backs,
we dropped
we're going down. I mean, I was told there would be no math, but I know those two numbers are different, and one is going in the wrong direction. So look, as far as the Raiders are concerned, that's market value, right? And it is a market, and it is business.
Right.
And it doesn't say whether or not the organization values Josh Jacobs. There is a position, there is a value associated with that position, and that's what a GM does. And so, kind of a point with some of the running backs right now, but you look at guys that are still out there. I mean, you got Dalvin Cook doesn't have a job. Leonard Fournette right now. I mean, there's a lot of running backs that have
Pollard
flooded.
signed the deal.
Pollard did sign the deal. Saquon Barkley did not sign his deal, and Saquon Barkley over with the Giants is talking about possibly sitting out for the season. And Eric, as I said, I want to offer perspective on that because once that deadline comes and goes, it's no such thing as a holdout.
Right.
You're not holding out, number one, because you're not under contract, so you're not obligated to go there to report. So you're not being fined or anything like that. But even if we called it a holdout, what would you be holding out for?
Yeah.
There's no point. All you're doing is losing
money.
A paycheck once those game paychecks start to take place. And so that's the reality. If these players decide not to play, there is nothing that the team can give them to bring them back. They can't offer them more than the franchise tag right now. And then these players also have to report by week 10, right after week 10, the Monday after week 10, or else they will lose an accrued year. And you know how valuable that is as a player. So really, you look back at what Le'Veon Bell did, and you're like,
that's a great point.
Yeah.
Gone are the days when teams are building their team around a running back, and that running back is going to get you to the playoffs, a deep run to the Super Bowl. We were talking, and I really can't remember the last time a running back has meant that to a team outside of TD. Terrell Davis.
Going back to the late 90s, you're heading back.
Back-to-back Super Bowls for the Broncos, and Elway was a little bit older at the time, and TD was the focal point of that football team. You think about the next, 5 or 6 years after that, we talk about Baltimore, but Baltimore was more of a defensive-oriented football team.
That defense won that Super Bowl.
Right? Yeah, won that Super Bowl. Then you go to Marshall Faulk. But that time, St. Louis at the time had, just tremendous receivers, great passing game, and Coach Vermeil did an outstanding job. So the market has changed right now, and we just have to find a way to kind of hope these running backs are able to get what they deserve.
All right, we'll keep our eye on the Josh Jacobs situation, but coming up on the Training Camp Special, we're going to be talking about Jimmy G. He took the Niners to the Super Bowl. What's next for the Raiders? Keep it tuned. Raiders Training Camp Special is brought to you by SiriusXM. Subscribe to SiriusXM and hear every Raiders game, plus 24/7 NFL news, talk, and expert analysis on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Start listening at SiriusXM.com/Raiders23. Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Sibley Scholes here. We are at the Raiders headquarters. I'm so excited. It's 2023 Content Day, so we're going behind the scenes, bringing you all the exclusives, coaches, players, everyone. They're all right below. Stay tuned.
I'm excited to be a part of this, excited to get this summer going, keep getting through OTAs and keep doing our thing. We've been having some good practices, so I'm excited. I appreciate it.
How are we feeling? We got new guys coming in. This is always an exciting day because everybody gets to have fun, talk, and see each other in the uniform. So what are your thoughts going into this?
They're long days. I'm not gonna lie. You got a lot of responsibilities you got to get done, but we're having fun with it. Football's getting closer. Put the pads on again. Just a lot of excitement in the building for sure.
So appreciate it.
You're looking at me first. Guys, over here.
I'm loving it, especially putting it on today. This is the first time in the uniform. It's special. There's something about the shimmer on the pants or something. I don't know. It's nice. I like it.
A brand new episode of the Emmy Award-winning series Behind the Shield is available now on Raiders.com or the Raiders official YouTube page. And it was good to see Jimmy G out there in the Raiders uniform for the first time. Fans will get an opportunity to see him at training camp. He's coming off the surgery, had the foot problem. But as Josh McDaniels said, he'll be ready to go. There's no anxiety around the injury. So we'll get an opportunity to see him get some reps. And how important is it, especially now, a new offense, even though he knows Josh McDaniels. He's been a part of that when he was with the Patriots.
New system, new situation. So incredibly important for him to get speed-wise up to date. So what happens is, just the ability to be able to throw to guys who, you're not accustomed to throwing to, you have to find kind of their speed. You kind of get on the same level. Very important. All the football stuff is so critically important in training camp because we don't use the preseason games anymore to get ready.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a lot of work in training camp, these practices. I'm talking even on the side, like maybe, you get with Devontae, you get with Hunter Renfrow, and you find ways to kind of create some really good one-on-one type of chemistry. Yeah. Which is so important. You have to have it.
Well, the quarterbacks report on Sunday, July 23rd, and they have that preseason to get ready because coming up in week 1, they've got last year's number 7 defense in the Broncos. Week 2, they have last year's number 6 defense in the Buffalo Bills. So that offense is going to have to be clicking, and that is for sure. But I'll tell you something encouraging about Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you remember last year with the 49ers? He did not participate in camp, not because he was hurt, because the 49ers told him they were going to trade him.
That's right.
They gave the job to Trey Lance. And so I was at that camp, and he was on the side just kind of working out and waiting to be traded, and it didn't work out. He wasn't traded. What happens? Trey Lance breaks his foot week 2. In comes Jimmy Garoppolo, and he leads them on an 8-3 run.
Yes.
He had no preparation.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's leadership. That's taking great mental reps. That means after practice, he's going into the film room, kind of finding out exactly, what the tight end, what the receivers are doing. So when he gets an opportunity, he's going to jump in and be seamless. So that shows me a lot about his leadership ability, his ability to be able to have great locker room dynamics, because if you don't have those locker room dynamics, it doesn't go straight like that. It doesn't go smooth like that when you hop in for a guy who they all think is going to be the quarterback. I think Jimmy G is really settled. Leadership-wise, locker room dynamics, and just making the uniform look good. I think Jimmy G is really good at that.
He's the guy, and he's not afraid of a competition. Remember, this guy led the 49ers to the Super Bowl in 2019. Fast forward to 2021, they drafted his replacement with the number 3 overall pick. They both go to camp in a quarterback competition. I was also at that camp in 2021. And I'll tell you, he was one of the classiest guys I've ever seen in the way that he handled that competition. And I know that because Trey Lance told me the way that Jimmy Garoppolo treated him and helped him learn. And that was his competition. And he wasn't worried about it. And when I saw that, I knew that, as you said, a leader, somebody that was going to have a locker room rally around him because of the way that he treats his teammates. And so it's exciting to have that here in Las Vegas with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, the question is, tight end, who's he going to be throwing to? It's going to look a little bit different than last year, isn't it?
A little bit.
Foster Moreau's over there in New Orleans, and then Darren Waller's with the New York Giants, and enter somebody a lot of people are excited about, a second-round draft pick in Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. Do you think that he gets an opportunity, although they did bring in some veterans in Austin Hooper and O.J. Howard?
O.J. Howard, I think, is the kind of guy who's going to really allow Michael to learn how to block in the National Football League. And I think that's what this is all about. I think what our organization has done is really brought in veterans to every room, understanding the competition from the younger guys, how you learn, what the learning dynamics will be like. So I think he's going to learn a lot from these older guys, how to block, how to run routes, but they want him to be the guy.
Yeah.
And day one, when we start and open up this season, they want him to be the starting tight end, be able to handle both, the run blocking, obviously the pass catching. He's done an outstanding job of having a great radius. When you watched him at Notre Dame, I have no doubts this young man has all the physical tools to be able to do those things. But again, that process to be able to get up to speed, to be able to block defensive ends and linebackers from off the edge, that's a whole different ball game. And I'm pretty sure we have enough guys in the room to teach him that.
Yeah, I remember a guy named Gronk. Do you remember him? I think Josh McDaniels did pretty well with him. Couple Super Bowls, if I do recall. All right, coming up, the Raiders' defense, the passing defense struggled. What has changed? Who's coming in? And what are the battles next?
All right, so we're talking about the secondary. That's where I'm going to keep it. For this one, I want to know who wins the starting role opposite of Nate Hobbs, assuming that he stays outside. I think we can all be in agreement that he's going to stay outside, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think so.
Yeah.
Question mark?
He'll
Probably.
play both,
Yeah.
The majority of his snaps outside.
I would agree. So who is his running mate on the outside, man? And we talk about having a lot of good pieces and a lot of intrigue. When I was going through this earlier, I think I'm going with my first gut. I'm going to go with the first kind of that's the guy feeling that I had. And that guy is friend of the program, Brandon Faison.
There you go.
I think Brandon brings a lot of things to the table. I think physically speaking, he's a tall, rangy corner, 6'2", 200 pounds. Like, this is a guy who can do that, who brings that to the table. But a veteran in the NFL, a guy who has been at a handful of different places, now on his second tour of duty with the silver and black, and really the owner of one of my favorite becoming a Raiders story, a story for another day. But I think that his experience in the NFL in general, the physical tools that he brings, the demeanor that he has on and off the field, I think is very becoming of a cornerback. And I think that if you were to ask me to right now, he's going to be the guy.
Eddie Pascal and Jesse Merrick are back for another rendition of the Raiders Training Camp podcast, where they discuss the biggest topics surrounding the silver and black throughout camp. Watch online at Raiders.com or the Raiders official YouTube page, and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome back to Raiders Training Camp Special, everyone. We're excited. Another season is upon us. And a big question for the Raiders is, can this defense improve? And we kind of saw that the front line did with Tyree Wilson being drafted. Excited about that. But a big question about the secondary, and especially not just because of the way the secondary performed last year, which is they struggled. They were last in the league in takeaways. They were the 29th passing defense. Look at who they faced as far as passing offenses this year. I mean, the Dolphins alone scares me with some of those receivers down there. Tyreek Hill. Jalen
Waddle.
Waddle.
About Minnesota with Jefferson, and Detroit with that kind of play action, ball control, middle of the field attack. So safety is very important. And then Buffalo Bills, as we know, Allen outside the pocket making plays. And you have to find a way to maybe double their big-time receiver. So a lot of question marks, right, with what we're going into the season with. And I like it because it's competition. Competition brings out the best. This organization, again, has surrounded this group with a lot of folks that they know have come through difficult times, being able to come through the other side of that, what I think is very important. I disagree with having Hobbs on the outside. I think Hobbs' first year as a rookie came in, played extraordinarily well inside. Last year, moved him outside, struggled a little bit. I think you need to put someone where they know and understand and can really do their best. I think Hobbs is an inside player. I think now you go outside. You think outside, Brandon Faison. I thought Brandon Faison a couple years ago played really well for this football team, long, rangy, like Eddie's talked about. That other side, though, you talk about a guy named Corey Bennett, young player coming in first year. He's had a really good mini camp along with Duke Shelley. I think they can compete outside on that left or right side. But I think when we start talking about the defensive backfield, starts with safeties. Our safeties have to be much better, more interceptions. That's the big thing we always talk about, Amber.
Take the ball away.
You gotta have some takeaways.
Gotta swing that momentum in a game. You knew a little thing or two about that.
Yeah,
back in your day, you did it once or twice. And by the way, the Raiders added 7 new cornerbacks and safeties via free agency and the draft. But for more on the secondary and all things silver and black, head over to Raiders.com for our position breakdown series. Digital team reporter Levi Edwards previews every position group going into training camp and evaluates the players who will potentially make up the Raiders' 53-man roster. Scan the QR code to get access to all 8 articles so you can be fully prepared for all the training camp position battles coming into the 2023 season.
That's a great shot right there.
It was pretty, wasn't it? Coming up next on Raiders Training Camp Special, Tyree Wilson headlines a class of 20 rookies who've reported to camp. Who will make the roster? Who will have the biggest impact? Keep it here. Raiders Training Camp Special is brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. SiriusXM. Subscribe to SiriusXM and hear every Raiders game, plus 24/7 NFL news, talk, and expert analysis on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Start listening at SiriusXM.com/Raiders23. Welcome back, everybody. Training camp rookies have already reported, and for 9 of them, they became a rookie through the draft, and for 11 of them that are here, they were signed as undrafted free agents. And you were a rookie. You were drafted in the first pick of the 2nd round of the 1988 draft by the Eagles, in case you forgot.
Oh, my goodness.
But heck of a career came after that. Do you ever remember some of your first memories of training camp?
Yeah, just going in and see, like, these guys going in and see Max Crosby. Like, for me, it was Reggie White. Like, I'm on the same football team as Reggie White, Randall Cunningham, Mike Quick, Chris Carter, all of those great teammates. So, me, a young guy in the locker room and just trying to get my rhythm as far as how to be a professional football player. And so I had a really great mentor. His name was Roynell Young. He had been in the league like 8 or 9 years from Alcorn State. And so he would take me out like every Thursday. And we would go downtown Philadelphia just to kind of get a feel of the city and what's expected of you and how you become, a professional football player. So those things off the field, the learning curve was really sharp. On the field, though, it's just football.
It's just football.
Just go and play, man.
It's the routine. It's learning how to be. That's a good way to put it. And would you recommend, if you gave some rookies advice, to kind of latch on to those older players that are willing to help you?
You have to. You have to find a way to find some guys, and not every person's gonna have done the right things all the time, and you don't want to learn from, you want to learn from people who have been through the experience, right, and have made some mistakes. So
you mean pick ones that are successful? Learn from the ones that have been successful. That's a really good advice. Really quickly, is there pressure on this class to really succeed because of some of the Raiders' failures in the draft in the past?
No. Every guy, it's on him to live up to what he believes himself to be.
Yeah,
and what
they can't worry about what happened before them.
Don't worry about that stuff.
Right now, though, 8 first-round picks since Colton Miller was selected in 2018. 3 of those men are on the roster, and one of them is Tyree Wilson, who was this year's first-round pick. So
hasn't been good for the Silver and Black.
And Josh Jacobs is the other one. But hey, it is a new era for the Raiders with these rookies. Excitement is in the building, and we will keep you updated all through of July and August on everything training camp and preseason. We'll see you next time on the Raiders Training Camp Special. See you, Eric.